We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
Business in Pennsylvania.
And business in Pennsylvania is our business.
From North Versailles, Helen writes in, why are you risking the loss of the votes of pro-lifers who are probably your most loyal fans? You told us we would see more bills passed and signed to protect mothers and babies, but egos and politics stand in the way, and bills like House Bill 1762 languish in committee. Protections for women and their babies are critical when we look at the Gosnell case down in Philadelphia, with the last of Gosnell's employees/accomplices serving their sentences. Meanwhile, if an abortionist injures a woman during an abortion, he can shuck her off to the emergency room where the resident on call has to deal with the crisis while the abortionist takes the money and goes home. That is a mouthful and a little bit of a loaded question, but go ahead.
Well, Helen, I'm disappointed you put it in that way, because we have been working very hard to protect women and children during the abortion process if they choose to do an abortion. And hopefully, as you know, I'm the grandfather of an adopted child. I much prefer to see adoption. I get to see my little grandson, actually not so little grandson, Liam. Whenever I see him, I think about this issue. And, I would prefer to see much more in the way of adoptions than abortions. But if they're going to go through an abortion, you need to make sure that they have a safe facility to do it in. And we have continued to work very hard on it. Remember the 120, 102, 26, and 1? Well, I'm the one, and the pen's ready to go. The bill is over in the Senate. I would hope that by the end of the session that they have that bill to me. I see no reason at this point in time that it can't get to me. But in the meantime, based upon Act 122 of 2012 that we spearheaded, that would require facilities, abortion facilities, performing the surgical abortions to be licensed under the Healthcare Facilities Act, we have been doing the inspections on a regular basis. The result of this, through the inspections, is 4 facilities voluntarily closed and several others moved from surgical abortion facilities to medical-only facilities. All freestanding abortion facilities in operation today are in compliance with Act 112. So following the law, that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay. I want to move on to Elizabeth in Ford City, who writes in, our town is talking about disbanding our police department, all because our elected officials can't deal with the debt they created. The worst-case scenario would leave us with no officers and under state police jurisdiction. No offense to the state police, but how can they possibly be as effective as having local police officers who know the community? What can the state do to help towns like ours keep our police force?
Well, and the question truly is, can you afford the police force? And I've been dealing with this issue now since my time as chairman of the Commission on Crime and Delinquency. I'll go back to one word: pensions. The cost of a police force in the average municipal budget is probably 50 to 55% of the entire budget of that municipality. Pensions is a driving issue in many of those. And as you know, we have some municipalities that are not seeing increases in revenue to keep up with the increases of costs for everything in a municipality. As a result, you are seeing a number of municipalities now start to talk about consolidation of the resources, because if a municipality does not have a police force, it does fall under the purview of the state police. I personally would like to see much more local coverage, whether that local coverage is by a police department or by a neighboring police department. For instance, I know Ohio Township in Allegheny County that police force provides coverage for 3 or 4 neighboring townships that contribute to the cost of that police force. And in Ford City, I don't know whether they have the opportunity to do something like that or not with the neighboring forces, but that's not uncommon. Or consider the issue of consolidation. Now, even though it's more than 4 letters, in some instances that's called a 4-letter word. And there's many instances of government services that we could talk about, where that word should come in. But I think the cost of continuing to do business is going to start driving that a little bit more.